So I don't remember the impact at the very second time, but I do remember being tossed around and seeing, it was kind of like fog or mist in the car, at what I assumed was the airbag that probably deflated. It probably went off. But at that time, after I saw that, I started going up through my car, through my roof of my car, looking above my car, and then looking down at this woman that I had no idea it was me. I didn't have any um, feelings towards this person in the car getting thrashed around. And it was interesting because what I did notice as I was venturing off up above, and it was interesting because I went up above the car and then I veered over to the left. I don't know why that's so important, but I could feel myself kind of going to the left. And then I hovered up more into a beautiful, beautiful area. But while I was hovering, I was looking down just to kind of observe because I was really confused. And I saw that magenta shirt. And I thought, I had an association like, oh, what am I doing? Why am I down there, but I'm up here? It was so confusing at first, but I kind of let go. And as I was hovering up, it kind of comforted me a little bit, I guess. Um, I just connected to that person, that was in the vehicle. And as I was hovering up, in that moment, I was literally in another realm. The realm to me, the way I describe it is, um, it was the most incredible feeling, almost as if it was the most peace that you could ever feel in your life, and comfort, love, joy, like everything just into one thing. And while I was there, there was a person to the right of me, but it wasn't a man, it wasn't a woman, it was literally a being. And the way that they spoke to me wasn't like you and I talk right now, Mia. It was more of, your knowledge through telepathically speaking, which even before I thought of a thought, they would answer me. So while we were discussing, what am I doing here? I don't understand. I literally just took in all the beauty, but also what was so fascinating was I could see not below me, not only behind me, but ahead of me for miles and miles. And it was almost like my whole universe just opened up, and it was a 360. And I just found that so fascinating at that point. I looked down and I noticed I'm not in my body. I'm not a being. I'm not a human anymore. I'm not of flesh. I'm a being. I'm a spiritual being. And to me, it was the most incredible feeling you could ever feel in your life. I mean, I've had two children. I love my grandchildren. It was like everything rolled into one, which was just so lovely. But it wasn't scary to me. It was just very peaceful. And I know for me, I absolutely wanted to stay. I didn't want to leave. But as we were talking telepathically, I realized that beyond me, after I noticed I could look everywhere, which was fascinating, I looked beyond me about 50 yards. Within the 50 yards, I noticed about 5 to 6. I can't remember. I drew it afterwards, but there was 5 to 6 entities. Now, these entities were different than the person that greeted me. They were more, I would say, um, regal, like they were important. Like when I looked at them, and they had this feeling of comfort, but yet they were very strong. And when they looked at me and I looked at them, I couldn't see their faces because they were so far away, but I could see they were acknowledging me by turning their heads back and forth. And to me, I felt like, oh, I'm home. This is a homecoming. This feels so beautiful. I'm wanting to go over to this area and just talk to them. And at that point, I was just observing more, because that's kind of what I mostly did, because I just took everything in. And as I'm thinking about it right now, describing things to you, I was so fascinated with the concept of just trying to understand the experience. But I noticed all their outfits, like they all each were kind of different heights. And they had the same kind of outfit, each one of them did. They had these beautiful, they were kind of like light robes, but they had these threads that went through them that were really pretty, and they almost looked like not monks, but they looked very important. Like they were some kind of important people. And I don't want to say religious because I'm not religious anymore. I used to be, but they were just very, very important. And they were surrounded by these beams of light behind them and colors, Mia, that you cannot even imagine. Colors that are so deep and they glisten. And it almost, I want to say they talk to you. The colors are just so vibrant. And then beyond that was almost like an orange concept of hues, which was really pretty. But the scenes that I saw were just mostly, I would call it heaven, because it looked like heaven to me, because we just seemed to be floating around in this beautiful realm. And it just was very, very beautiful. But the being that was right to me, we were talking telepathically. We were talking about my family. And at the time, I said, I don't really care to go back to my family, which is kind of, it just doesn't sound very nice. But if you were to experience this, you'd want to stay. It's like you felt like, oh, I am totally home now. I've done my job here on earth. I'm staying. And it just, he wasn't taking no for an answer. He just kept telling me, basically, it's not your time. You need to go back. And as soon as I kind of thought about my family, I remember thinking, okay, this is important. I need to listen to him. But the feeling of not wanting to go and wanting to stay there, as soon as I thought of my family, boom, I was out. And what happened was this time, I ended up going through, like some people, I guess they say they go through a tunnel when they go past their near-death experience. With me, it was the opposite. I went through almost, it was like a water slide. Kids when they go down water slides, or maybe you've gone down a water slide, but it's all enclosed and you can hear the water rushing when you're going down. That's what I went back down into earth. And when I landed back in my body. And when I went in through my body, I could see I went through my top of my head and then I went all the way into my body.